He says, wake up. He said, arise. Listen to the call, God said to him. And then later on, what happens? Those mariners, those people on the boat, when he was sleeping, arise, get up. In Ephesians, it talks about this very thing in chapter 5. Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Awake, arise, and shine. When God awakes you to His Word, it causes you to become alive. And once you become alive through the Spirit, it causes you to shine in the midst of a dark and corrupt generation. That's what the Word says. You shine like stars in the midst of a dark and corrupt generation. You shine, guys, because you have the revelation of the Father. Wake up. Maybe this is you today. Maybe this is you. Genesis 50:20 says that what the enemy meant for evil, God meant for His glory. And what we see happen is that the same people that Jonah fled and left with were the very people that tossed him into the storm to cause the sea to stop. See, the enemy tried to destroy him with those lives, but I'm here to tell you that, guess what? There may be the same people that you're getting into trouble with and you're going down the wrong path with. Those will be the same people that God uses to thrust you back into the call and destiny that God has for your life. And I pray that you're encouraged by that word. I found myself, just like I posted on Facebook, in relationships I shouldn't be in, around people I shouldn't have been in, because I was afraid of the call and it almost killed me. But God said, just in the nick of time, He plucked me out of that situation, put my feet back on solid ground, and 2 years later, now He has opened up a door of opportunity for me to come and impact lives, encourage people by my testimony. It's all because of His glory and what He did. And that's what I'm excited about, is we get a chance to look at 9, 10, 15 guys that come on every Tuesday, and you get to hear their story on how God came just in the nick of time, and He hurled them into the eye of the storm and did something so crazy. Are you willing to just stand, and when you've done all to stand some more, and to trust God today? Because chapter 1 of Jonah is all about disobedience. It's all about disobeying God. As soon as the mariners were obedient, and Jonah said, listen, if you hurl me into this storm, in the eye of the storm, it'll cease, it'll stop. But what did man try to do? They tried to row even harder in their own strength, and the storm got worse. I'm here to tell you that if you continue to try to use your own strategies on how to get the storm to stop, it'll only get worse. As soon as they listened and they obeyed to what Jonah said, the storm ceased. They looked and they feared God immediately. They praised Him, and they made a vow with their lips, and they made a covenant saying, guess what, God? We know You are the one true God. See, God used it for His glory. Jonah may have been fleeing away from God, going to a place called Joppa, that means to make one's beautiful. It means to make me look good. That's what the world wants to sell you. Are you buying into that? Or are you buying in the kingdom of God that says that you are beautiful in the sight of God, and that there's no fear in God? For perfect love casts out all fear. It ends up with Jonah being swallowed up by a whale and in the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. Isn't it a beautiful picture on how Jesus and Jonah both did the same thing? They both got swallowed up. The earth and the grave tried to swallow Jesus up, but when He came out, He came with the keys to the kingdom. and he came out with the power and the authority that he gave all the sons and daughters that would go after him. And then when Jonah was swallowed up, for those 3 days, it was this process of just realizing what his call was and what God had placed in his heart. And when he was spat out on dry land, he went mightily and did what God called him to do. I pray you're blessed by the words that are in Jonah chapter 1. And I pray that you guys can come out and spend some time with us. We'd love to have you here. These are the conversations that we talk about, and we go way more in depth into it. But I wanted to give a quick overview of some of the things and some of the points that were brought out. So I pray you're blessed by this, and I pray that I see you here in the next 11 weeks. It's going to be dynamic. There's going to be fellowship made. There's going to be friendships made. There's going to be community established, and there's going to be men of God that are young, that are going to rise to the occasion and stand for truth in the midst of a dark and corrupt world. So thank you for listening, and I pray you're blessed by this.